Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's me, Robert Phoenix, and I'm the man in the shadows, shadows and light. Hey, so wow, it's Wednesday, and my eyes—I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Usually, when I don't get a lot of sleep, the thing, like my body, is usually pretty good, with the exception of my eyes. You know, eyes are like these muscles, and they need rest. And usually, when I don't get a lot of sleep, my eyes are the thing that kind of betrays me early in the day. So bear with me as I squint through the early part of our experience here, which is me greeting you and saying good morning, hello, bonjour. Uh, DJ MC Michael in the house, misbehaving too. Michelle Renee, it's my birthday today. No copyright infringements needed. Well, Michelle Renee, wishing you a great solar return and a brilliant, brilliant personal year. California Contrarian, what's happening? Good to see you. Sandra Jack Shaw, I was away in Charlotte, North Carolina, visiting my family down there. You said you're headed that way. That's right. The 11th House Tiki Tour is about to commence here in the latter part of May. All of a sudden, I'm fascinated by tiki bars. And I've been looking up tiki bars in various cities along the way. Part of American culture that I think needs to be revived. Jason Talbot. Hi, Jason. Good to see you here. I'm listing some esoteric wisdom on gold. I like that. We got a notification, just a video for IMF. The topic, a silver economy. Well, if it's a silver economy, I should be rich because I got plenty of silver on my head. I am a silver type gal over gold, anyways. I like silver. The only problem with silver is you need more of it than gold. If it was the same amount, silver would be great. But I'm with you. I like silver. Stephanie Hunter. Hi, Stephanie. Jackie Delario. Hey, there's our big cat lady, Julie Sunshine, 333. Greetings. Barbara Boots on the Ground. Que pasa? Devin Dewar. Mars. Back in Leo. Ooh. Yeah. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a Mars party. We also have Mercury Neptune conjunction today. Very interesting conjunction. This is the first time the two of them have conjoined, if I'm not mistaken. All right. You guys, it's snowing again. No, get out. Get 8 inches? Enough already. Artist Seer checking in from Florida. Natal moon conjunct today's moon. Always interesting experience. Because I like moon conjunctions. I always have a good time when the moon conjuncts my natal moon. Then again, my natal moon's in a pretty pleasant place for the most part, and I've grown through the Moon Saturn square in my life. Let's see, Janice Phillips, Goat Mama, she's here. My guy Ryan's here. Hi, Ryan. Scott Jerzik. Yes, become a member of the old locals there. You can support it. Just hang out. Do whatever you want over there. There we go. Laura E. Happy birthday. Yep, there it is. Liddy Lou. Checking in from Kitty. The new next. Happy Hump Day from Oklahoma. That's going to be part of the tour stop. Oklahoma City is on the schedule. Yes, please hit like, subscribe. Let's get this thing up to 16,000 if we can. 20,000 for the end of my life. which hopefully is not in the near future. Let's see. Moira from NYC. My guy Steve is here. What's up, Steve? The new next. That's right. We're going to, yes, Oklahoma City. That's right. You just heard it. It's going to be probably stop number 2 on the 11th House Tiki Tour of America. Dave Sullivan. What's up, Big Dave? Lynette Jardine. Mad Maxine. Let's see. Who else we have here? Anybody catch Joni and David yesterday? My overall view, it takes a village, and we don't need judgmental woke gatekeepers. It was a very strategic move for the collective. I didn't see it. I'm sure it was good. David's always really good with guests. I am not a Vedic person, though. And I'll tell you why. I was not born in India. I was not born in India. And if I was a Vedic person, if I was going to have that system, I would just practice sidereal. And part of the reason why also, besides the fact that I'm being xenophobic, is that Vedic astrology is really harsh. It's a very harsh system, and it's like so brutally unforgiving. If you're born under a bad star, you are kind of fucked, right? Whereas here in the West, which is congruent with, you see, this to me, that kind of astrological gestalt is very much like the caste system. You know what I mean? It's like if you're born in a caste in India, you're fucked. The wrong caste, you're fucked. You have the wrong chart, you're fucked. But here in the West, guess what? If you're born in a family that doesn't have a whole lot of means, but with your moxie, intelligence, diligence, dedication, hard work, and a little good luck along the way, you can elevate yourself. Or at least that's the way it was. And I still believe it still is. And the same holds true for the chart. Here in the West, we have something called evolutionary astrology, which was pioneered by Stephen Forrest. And it's a very good way to look at the chart. But the individual, the chart is not static. It's growing, it's evolving, it's moving. Maybe there are some Vedic astrologers who are more along those lines, but by and large, Vedic, no bueno for me. And I'm sure Joni's a very nice woman. And I'm sure that she hits on things. So this is not a condemnation of Joni Patrick. It is just me rejecting a system. My xenophobic rejection. Claire, I will promise you, I will email you right after the show. I promise you that. Sharon Lewis is here. Hi, Sharon. Tom's in the house. Let's see. Thor at the door. The mayor, Mayor Steve. Diane Evans. There's my guy Neil checking in from Wisconsin. The lovely and talented one is here. Sammy and Austin, 1 2 at a time. Let's see who else. Lana Winkler, Dead Wolf Resistance. What's up, Dead Wolf? Good to see you again. We thought we had lost you, but I'm glad you're back. Julianne Ross. Hi, Julianne Ross. It is almost Thursday. That's right. You can buy me a cup of coffee right there. That's right. The cup of coffee is the equivalent of a super chat. But I always read chats, super or not. Green-Eyed Crow, you're here before Robert. Yes, you were. Congratulations. Actually, I was here before you. I just wasn't on the show. But technically, my endless road. What's happening? Salty Cow, my guy, right there. Subscribe. You got it. Thanks, Salty. 15 minutes of flame. We got more Carmelo Anthony. And I got a little Carmelo Anthony thing that is very strange. Very strange. It is, how do we say this? Sinky. Carol Amore. There's more of Carol Amore. Tracy F. Here we go. Great day. Yes, thank you. Sleep was weird last night for sure. I actually had dreams. They weren't pleasant, but they were present. I didn't really sleep a whole lot. I was up watching my Warriors pull out a nail biter with Memphis. Let's see, who else do we have here? Jason, as we said, hi, Jason Talbot. It's always good to see Jason. Cecilia and Aphrodite. Hey, listen, I wanted to thank you for your coffee. Thank you for the coffee the other day. Appreciate that. Strange dreams, yes. Readings, yes, that's it right there. You can get them. Get your readings hot. Hot readings. Fresh hot readings. Get them while they're hot. Take a nap today. Fill your sick bag. Well, I will if I can. You know, we projectors, we don't have normal sleep lives. Rainbows and butterflies. Will my sister Sue's ever return? Unfortunately, no. She will not return. Sister Sue's has found the Lord. And unfortunately, this is heretical knowledge. And we love Susie, and we wish her well because she does pray for us. Pebbles, what's happening? Lisa Ann White, the law is in. Kelly B, tomorrow is your son's 23rd birthday. Well, congratulations to your son. Noel Way, I missed yesterday. Where are you heading in North Carolina? In Charlotte? Yeah, so I think there's going to be probably maybe a couple stops in Charlotte because there are people that are in Raleigh, there are people that are in Asheville, and there are people in Raleigh, Durham, and there are people in Charlotte. I might go to all three of those areas. Christina Maria. Let's see. Brandy. Brandy's been gone for a while. That's right. Tom should know about Brandy. Ask Tom about Brandy. Let's see. What else here? Love the Palmer and Patrick combo. Call out beautiful. David and I are working on some plans. More to come. Ratchet Boo, how are you? The Green Knight Astrology Soul Advisor, the Green Knight Primes. All right, there we go. Let's see. Susie Gemini, oh bummer. Yes, she did say that she would pray for us. So that's a good thing. Just know that you're being prayed for. I kind of feel like since we lost her, we have to go find a fallen Christian somewhere. Keep your eyes out for a fallen Christian. The universe needs balance. Okay, let's get into the weather. Take a deep breath. Oh, no way. I need to speak with Susie. My specialty is in reconciling astrology. But hey, Longo, my man, did you hear about my tour, which is going to culminate in your bookstore in May? I guess you haven't heard that, have you? I'll send you a text. I will send you a text. The Christians are loving the signs from the skies, so I'm surprised it had to be this extreme. There's Scrubbies. There's our Tamara sighting right there. There you go. Hey, I got a really good interview lined up for Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. It's an interview with the Hat Guy. And some of you may be familiar with the hat guy. He was kind of an internet phenomenon, and I've had him on my show before, and it's going to be really good. The hat guy's a trip. Yeah, he used to be like, I knew him before I knew about his internet fame, as it were, and I knew him as a client, a young client, and then we've actually had a friendship since about 2013. So I've known him for about 12 years. Let me see. I think we had a little contact with my friend Longo. I cannot confirm this, but I think that Susie found a man. I cannot confirm this, but I believe she found a man, and decided that, or the man decided that it was not good for her to indulge in these things, and therefore these things are verboten, as they say. All right, but we love her, and whatever shape her path takes, and wherever it takes her, we love and support our dear friend Susie. There is no judgment. We are not judgmental people. We are not judgmental people. We might be critical, but we are not judgmental, and there is a difference between the two. All right, let's talk Mercury Neptune conjunction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the key in the ignition right here. And look at this hot, grand trine. Well, almost hot. So tomorrow we got Mars in Leo, Mercury Neptune in Aries, and guess what? Moon in Sag. And it's going to be a hot time in the universe. Kite pattern with Pluto right there at the tip, top of the pyramid, the crown of the diamond. And this is going to be an augur for what is to come. So for all you people out there that have some imagination, use it. Whatever way, shape, or form it takes, use your imagination. And since it's in Aries, it is a breath of fresh imagination. New ideas, new thought forms. Get excited, get creative. There's a bit of a mind meld here as well, right? Aries rules the brain. And when you get Mercury Neptune conjunct, there is a dissolution between the bicameral barriers of the brain. This is the brain sync. Logic and intuition, creativity and analysis, they all come together. Right? This is the definition of individuation. Right brain, left brain, they're both on call. They're both serving in the function of evolution, your evolution, our evolution. It's time for new ideas, inspired new ideas. And not only that, it is time to act on the inspired new ideas. You know, we need people with passion. There's a malaise in the air. There is a social and spiritual malaise in the air that has been drummed up by an overabundance of chaos where most people don't know where anything is going. The wheel is spinning round and round, but they don't know what number it's going to stop on. And a lot of people have all of their assets on one number, or at least one color. Go red or black, and that might make a bit of a different kind of binary uh, sense of drama here. But we need more passion to combat the malaise. You could crash out. You could have a tower moment. You can put yourself on the cross like the hanged man. There's plenty of archetypes for you to succumb to or surrender to if you want to do that. But you don't have to. You don't have to. You can live your life, as the French say, with a sense of joie de vivre. You can bring freshness and originality to any situation that you are in. And now we have the call to act. And if you don't have a good idea, if you have a good idea and you don't act on it, that is up to you. That is on you. If you have a creative inspiration and you don't act on it, that is on you. You can't blame anybody. The world may be crazy, but it's not a time to fade to gray. Not now. This is the inception of this Mercury Neptune conjunction. It's the first time. Because when Neptune went into Aries, Mercury had already retrograded back into Pisces. And so here they are together for the very first time. So this is an important moment. This sets the stage for Mercury's relationship with Neptune for the next 15 years, because that's how long the Neptune transit is. Just think about this for a second. Mercury could have been ahead of the pack. Had it not gone retrograde, it might be in Taurus by now. And would it be clicking with Neptune? No. You'd have to wait till next year. And by that time, Neptune wouldn't be at 0. It might be at 1 or 2 because it does do some retrogrades, but it wouldn't be at 0. It's at 0. This is the 0 point. This is auspicious. I'm telling you, this is very, very auspicious. Dare to be inspired. Dare to be inspired. If you want to talk about this from a perhaps more religious perspective, this would literally be the immediacy of the spirit, and listening to the immediacy of the spirit. How are we not the immediacy of the spirit? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, if we're really looking at how we work in terms of our owner's manual, right? How we work is all based on the immediacy of the spirit. To me, this is the elimination of the priestcraft. It's nice to have a priest every now and then that help you talk through things. They've lived a little, right? They've got a little bit of wisdom, but they are not the sole arbiters of your experience with the sacred and God. And in fact, many of them have been over-empowered to the point where they create this hierarchical relationship that isn't always healthy. So if you were to synthesize this and put this into Christian terms, this is exactly the relationship that Christ, Sananda, Jesus, Emmanuel would be having. I and my Father are one. It's right here. Right here. And it's an interesting discussion to have. What are the most sacred and divine thoughts? The ones that are inspired, where you have a creative idea, where the light bulb goes off in your head, where all of a sudden you understand things that you've never understood before. And there's a light of understanding that's available to you. That's the connection to the higher mind. This is how we were built to operate. This is what that man's story was about. This is what he was trying to tell us many, many years ago. And here it is. This is the day. This is a very auspicious Mercury Neptune conjunction as we come into Easter. There's something powerful and profound about this coming Easter. And I've talked about it before, that there would be signs. And some of these signs would be interpreted in very traditional, kind of orthodox ways. But there are going to be other signs. If you pay attention, you will see the hidden hand of creation behind things. The moon is in Sagittarius, and the moon in Sagittarius says, why not? Why not? Of all the moons, it's the moon that might be the most inspired moon. It's a moon filled, it's kind of, it's a little bit loaded, zealous, perhaps. Certainly enthusiastic. Right? The Sagittarius moon is hungry for more. Whatever the more is, it doesn't settle for mundane emotional expression. The moon in Sagittarius is fiery and passionate, and I think filled with a sense of, believe it or not, since we're on this sort of non-secular talk, it's a moon in Sagittarius is filled with fellowship. And you would think it would be the moon in Aquarius, but no, the moon in Aquarius is it's cool, it's detached, it's objective, it's friendly, but I would call it filled with fellowship. But the moon in Sagittarius is. It wants to connect with another person at a high level. This is a really fascinating grand trine. And tomorrow, it tops it all off with this Mars and Leo. So for everybody out there that has any kind of malaise, this is the time to shake it off. Knock the cobwebs from your head. Take a cold shower. Do a cold plunge. Whatever you need to do. Clear the brain. This is a brain clearing time with Mercury, Neptune, and Aries. And the thing with the Aries is it's immediate, right? It's immediate. There's an immediacy here. And some crazy motherfuckers are going to hear voices, but that's a different story. Maybe those voices are, not always so crazy. But you will know. You will know. You will discern. I think this is very profound. The 16th of April. Look at this. Right here. Fantastic. All right. We do have some intensity still. Sun, Mars. And the sun is right at the edge. Aries, right? We're winding down in Aries. It's just ripped by. And it's probably going to be at the peak here of this square with Mars and Cancer. And I just keep flashing on this Carmelo Anthony thing in Frisco, Texas. And the blood is starting to boil. The Anthony family went out and bought an $800,000 house based on the money they got from their GoFundMe. I believe they also got a new car as well. all for security reasons, no doubt. This is not great. This is not, and I'm going to get into this on 15 Minutes of Flame, because there's other things that are happening, and there's some very strange syncs with Carmelo Anthony, which I'll talk about. But again, to me, this is this Sun-Mars square and the tension that's building. And boy, once Mars moves into Leo, that tension is gonna rip. It's gonna explode. We have a Moon-Uranus opposition today, even though the Moon is in Sag, and Uranus. This is people want to break out. This is a jailbreak day. This is breakout right here. People are tired of their ruts, their familiar ruts. Moon sextile Pluto. Look at that, right there. Boom. Let your enthusiasm guide you. The Sag Moon has also got a little bit of self-righteousness to it as well. This is not the day to suffer fools gladly. And I would also say that you can, if you need to, I hate to use the word speak truth to power, but there is something to it. I mean, how can you hold back with a Mercury Neptune conjunction in Aries? Not a lot of holding back, right? Mercury in that sextile with Pluto. It's intense. This is a really interesting time. Look, think of this period. This is how I work with transits in general. Think of this period as an opportunity for you to integrate what I'm talking about. It is not just a passing parade of planetary influence. It is something you can integrate. The Mercury sextile to Pluto is intense. It processes deeply and quickly because the Mercury's in Sagittarius. Mercury Neptune conjunction, again, there's a sense of what I would call divine instinct. You put these two things together, and boy, you're cooking with gas here. Okay, so these are transits in the air. Do your best to integrate them. Make them a part of your life, and not just a day where this thing happens. All right, let's get into our True Hemp Science star of the day. Enough proselytizing. We get into banner mode. Shout out for our guy Chris. Yeah. Okay, our True Hemp Science star of the day is none other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So before I break down Kareem's chart, True Hemp Science is your one-stop shop for all things CBD. And if you spend $100 or more, type in 15MINS, that's your code, you will get the vaunted goodie bag. And that means you get an order with your order, an order within your order. And there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. Spend $150 more, you get free shipping. It is your best source of CBD. Online, offline, I'm convinced. Because I know what Chris goes through in the lab to perfect these concoctions. And he's always using organically sourced hemp plants. There you go. All right, let's talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The first thing that really grabbed my attention when I popped this chart was Saturn on his midheaven in Leo. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played a really long time. So not only was he prolific, as he still leads, I guess LeBron finally passed him in terms of points. But he played for a long time, and he was productive. I think he came into the league in 1970, if I'm not mistaken. 70 or 71, one of the two. And he played like into the 90s. Like Kareem played like almost 20 years. And that's Saturn, right? That's Saturn and its endurance. You know, when you have Saturn in the 10th house, you will endure. You will get to the top. Well, he got to the top very quickly. He was a playground legend in New York. You can't see the chart. Why the fuck is that? Thanks, Tom. That's on me. There we go. All right. Right there. There's Saturn right there. See it right at the top. But he was a playground legend when he was young. I mean, in high school, I think Kareem was probably 6'10", 6'11", tops off at 7 feet by the time he gets to UCLA. And when you look at the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar changes the sport of basketball. You see this with people that have Pluto in the 10th house, especially if they have a significant planet within orb, and we're talking 9 degrees here. People who have Pluto in the 10th house can be very transformational in their work. And of course, Leo, it's pastimes, it's sports, it's play. And Jabbar changes the center position. You know, prior to Jabbar, you had Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, who, by the way, are tremendous upgrades in terms of the sport. George Mikan being, of course, the first super center. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does things that even Russell and Wilt can't do. You know, with Russell, it was all defensive. And Wilt could play defense, but Wilt was always looking to score first. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is both. He leads the league in blocks. He leads the league in scoring. He's kind of Russell and Chamberlain built into one player. And the other thing with Kareem is that he was a really tremendous passer. And of course, he's known for the most unstoppable shot in basketball history, the skyhook. And he's literally a giant, right? Saturn, Pluto, Leo, he's a giant. This is somebody who in another time would be kind of a legend or a myth or something like that. Because not only was he big, but he was extremely mobile and coordinated and just not a usual human, right? And he's got this grand trine with Mars trining Pluto, Mars trining Saturn. We got Jupiter in the mix, Jupiter trining Mars, Jupiter trining Pluto, Jupiter trining Saturn. So he has this grand trine that culminates at the top of the chart. And he's going to literally become the best player in the history of the NBA. Now, there's always this talk: who's better, Michael or LeBron? Michael or LeBron? If you talk to anybody about basketball, they'll tell you that Kareem was the best, and they'll hash it out between Michael and LeBron, but Kareem is always at the top. And I'm not a Kareem fan. I think the guy's kind of an asshole. And you can see this in his chart. Look at his son. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a lonely person. He's had a few marriages. He's got some kids. But you never got the sense that he was happy as a family man. You never got that, right? You never got the sense that these relationships really work out in his life, because they really don't. And he's got that sun over here in Aries in the 7th house, and he's looking for the other. But he would not be an easy person to be in a relationship with, right? He's got that sun square to Saturn, and kind of as a result with Pluto. But this is, you get into a relationship with Kareem, you'll find out how unhappy he is. And that's really the thing about him, right? He has this tremendous NBA career. He's financially well off. And he's kind of like Bill Russell in that way. Russ was never really happy. He had a chip on his shoulder, and so does Kareem. He's always kind of had a chip on his shoulder. He was, UCLA was a bit of a hotbed for activism, and Kareem was an activist in his own way. And so was Bill Walton. It was a sign of the times. And for Kareem, it was more on the black Afro tip. But what did he do during COVID? He was out there front and center telling people to, get the freaking jab. And sorry, it didn't really go over very well. But with sports figures, we tend to overlook these things. And for the most part, their legacy doesn't seem to be tarnished. Nobody's talking about how aggressive Abdul-Jabbar was with the so-called vax. But, and again, he's got a reputation of being very taciturn. He has Neptune in the 12th house. And I've always felt like Neptune in the 12th house is deep and it's spiritual. So he's got something, right? He's got this spiritual core to draw from, like the house of the soul. He's got Neptune in the house of the soul, but it's retrograde. So what does he do? He rejects the faith that he's born in, and he becomes a Muslim. His name is Lual Sindor. When he was in New York, they called him Louis Alcindor. Probably the most celebrated high school recruit of all time. John Wooden lands him. And he's on part of these historic UCLA teams. And I feel like part of what his struggle is sensitivity. I think Kareem's a sensitive guy. He's got the moon in Pisces, he's got Pallas in Pisces, he's got Venus in Pisces, and he has all this warrior energy here. By the way, if you ever want to see a crazy fight sequence, watch Game of Death with Bruce Lee. And in the final fight sequence, he fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And it's crazy watching Kareem, all 7'1", like fly across the floor doing these crazy side kicks and stuff like that. And he pulls it off. I mean, Kareem pulls it off. He's the final warrior that Bruce Lee faces in the movie Game of Death. And yeah, Mars and Aries. He's a warrior. And when he played in the NBA, he wasn't a softie. I mean, he threw blows with players. But I do think that there is a sensitive side to Kareem that he probably had a challenging time dealing with, with all this Pisces on the back end, and even this moon, this balsamic moon, and it squares Jupiter, and it feels like when he's moody or in an emotional state, that Jupiter square just makes it even bigger. And I would also probably go on the record with a lot of people don't even really know who the guy is. Right? You'd have to spend some significant time with him with all these personal planets just tucked behind the sun. The other thing, when you look at his chart in terms of major planets, he's got no Earth. He may have Saturn here at the top of the chart, but it is in Leo. And that's another thing about Kareem, right? Like, when you watch Magic Johnson, who is a Leo, by the way, Magic had played with a sense of joy. He had a sense of joy. Wilt had a sense of joy. Isaiah Thomas, big grin on his face, a sense of joy. You never got that with Jabbar when he played. There was a grim intensity about Jabbar. And you see this with Saturn. But the thing that really struck me was he doesn't have any significant Earth in his chart. He's got some asteroids, but that's about it. And the reason I chose this picture is because he kind of looks a bit like an alien. And I feel like without the Earth in his chart, even though he has part of fortune and Virgo, that's not huge, that he probably felt like an alien in terms of his height, the times that he lived in. I don't necessarily think Kareem got on really well with this world, except for basketball. He's great in basketball. I guess he's got commercials and shit, whatever. But I don't think he really feels at home. He's got that true note in Gemini. Of course, he changes his name. Right? Very Gemini-like. From Louis Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's this other area with Chiron and Scorpio in the first house. How do I say this? I don't think that sexual intimacy has been easy for Kareem, whether it's his size, height, whatever, right? And like a lot of athletes, they can go to any town and pick up any woman. I'm not sure that's the case for Jabbar. With his moon in Pisces, sextile Chiron, to me, this is somebody who has to feel something. Right? It's like, I don't think he, and I'm sure he's probably did a wilt every now and then, but I don't think he's wired that way. It's like he has to have some kind of emotional connection in order for him to get past whatever this wounding with Scorpio is. Look at the degree of that Chiron in Scorpio. It's young, right? It's an early degree. Generally, it's, if he were my client, I would ask him if he had ever been sexually molested by his father or a grandfather or somebody along those lines. Because he's got that Chiron in Scorpio in the first house. It's right around the age of, 6? And it squares Pluto and it squares Saturn. Saturn's the father, and we know what Pluto's about. And maybe that's one of the things that has kind of gotten in the way of his intimacy, some degree, right? And you even have this inconjunct with, it looks like Chiron and Mars. Of course, Mars does represent the sexual function. And I'm just looking at this, right? And even the Mars Neptune opposition, and Neptune kind of pulling away from that Mars energy. So I would say that Mars, in the function of being a professional basketball player and athlete, adds up to that grand trine. But there's another story to that on a personal level, which I think is a bit more, how shall we say, wounded. I'll leave it there. All right, that's your True Hemp Science start of the day. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you got something out of the show. And if you did, please hit like, subscribe, the bell. You know the drill. And we'll be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday, we have the Hat Guy. That'll be a great interview. So join me with the Hat Guy on Friday. And what else? Rumble. Cash me outside. Meet me on Rumble. We'll be talking about the higher strange of Carmela Anthony. All right, take good care. Take good care of yourselves. Treat each other well. God bless. Love you all, Robert Phoenix.